What's going on, y'all? It's Nick and Tyler with Bear Family Farms. Got the nannies moved to a fresh pasture. We're, what is this? First week of May, getting to the end of the first week of May. All that cool season grass is kind of coming to the end of its life. Looking for some of that summer grass to come up. But a lot of rye coming up, or seeding out now, so the goats are enjoying that. They've got a good amount of brush in here to keep them occupied. What we wanted to talk about today was top 3 things that you will need when it comes to raising goats. And these can apply to sheep and goats, but right now for this video we're looking at goats. So it won't be in any particular order, but we'll go ahead and start with guard dogs. You need a guardian animal. In our case, we run guard dogs. To touch on the guardian aspect, we've tried llamas, which we still have llamas, we've tried donkeys, we've tried mules, we've tried just about any kind of guardian animal you can think of when it comes to sheep and goats. Yes, having to feed the dogs is a little bit more of an expense, but when you do the math, it's uncomparable. The dog, just their pee and poo on fence line is uncomparable when it comes to any kind of other guardian animal. And this right here is how we feed our guard dogs. We've got, in this pasture in particular, we have 2 different setups. We have 2 different feeders. So we have 100 pounds out here at all times. There's 4 or 5 dogs in here, and we check it pretty regularly. It's never really empty. Right now probably is, yeah, it's full. And this is a 30% protein, high active dog feed. And it just gravity feeds in there. And now that you can see these brown spots, now that the bugs are coming back with it's hot and wet, we are going to start putting our petroleum jelly over this to keep the bugs out of the dog feed. That center blocks keeps it up off the ground. And we really don't have any goats in this pasture that eat the dog food. Yes, there's a lot of folks that have the goats that eat dog food, but that's when we have our jump gate scenario, which we don't have them in this pasture, so we don't have that. It's just one less thing we have to move when it comes to moving pastures. So uncomparable by far for our scenario, our situation. Lifestyle guardian dogs are what we use. We got Butter here. We got Beth, we got Haas. Butter is a Great Pyrenees Anatolian cross. Beth is a Karachakun full blood. And then we got Haas back there. He's dominantly Great Pyrenees, as you can see. It's about 95 degrees today. So it's the first day of the year that it's gotten this hot. So these goats are panting pretty hard. The dogs are panting pretty hard. I'm panting pretty hard. There's not a stock tank in this pasture, so we did have to haul water in. We really wanted to get them in this pasture because there is quite a bit of cedars in this pasture, and a lot of people don't know this, but those cedar leaves, or whatever the heck they're called, I don't even know if they're leaves, but the green on the cedar acts as a parasitic, actually, a natural dewormer. So in a lot of the pastures you'll see they've got them trimmed up pretty high, but they've never been in this pasture before. There's a lot of underbrush, a lot of cedars over on the back side of this pasture. So we're really looking forward to them getting in after those cedars. Downside, there's always a downside to everything, usually. And we have to haul water in because there's no natural water point here. They've only been in this pasture about 3 days, 2 days, 3 days, 2 or 3 days. And you can already see they've kind of already gotten after this specific cedar tree here. The kid back here on the back on the right hand side with the white markings on his butt with the green tag in his ear. He is definitely the showstopper this year so far as a kid. He's probably only 5 weeks old, maybe 6 weeks at most, and he is a giant. He and another billy kid are the two top billy kids that we've seen so far as growth wise, mass wise, on pasture, obviously with their mother's milk. But they start nibbling at 2-3 weeks old. They start nibbling on forage. So he's on forage, he's not on feed, and he's that big. That's pretty impressive. So we're definitely going to keep an eye on him. I know what he looks like, and I know his mother's tag number. I just don't ever remember his number, but I know who he is, and I always look for him when I come out and check on the goats. I'll see if I can find the other kid, the other billy kid that's stand out this year. Number 2, you're going to need some type of fencing, whether that's going to be net wire, woven wire, electric fence, electric netting, multiple strands of hot wire, or poly wire. And on the electric fence topic, obviously your goats are going to have to be broke, or your sheep and goats are going to have to be broke to electric fence, because there's a chance the first time they get zapped to go through it and get out. So you want to be there when you're breaking them to hot wire. We have a video on how we break them to hot wire, our electric fence. I'll put that in the comments. So number 2 is fencing. So we got a guardian animal, number 1. Number 2, we've got fencing. That nanny right there, this one here, she's got a kid on her side, and she's just turned 9. That's pretty impressive to see 9-year-old still in production on pasture. And that nanny there, she is also a 9-year-old. She's raising a kid. There's the 3 billies that we have in here. Maui, I don't remember what Tyler's calling that one, and then Kerjack. We had a video earlier, I don't know, a few weeks ago, showing that we're trying something new for the next 24 months. We're gonna leave nannies in, or billies in, on the nannies year-round, kind of as an experiment, fertility experiment, as well as, you know, the way nature intended. You know, they're gonna, in reality, if they were in the wild, you're not gonna have a human interfering with breeding time. So we kind of want to see what's gonna happen in our environment while leaving billies in. Obviously, some of these nannies are gonna get pregnant. Hopefully all of them do breed back. A lot of people think nannies or goats won't breed back with kids on their side while they're in milk, but we've definitely proven that wrong. But we just want to see how effective and how fertile a whole herd scenario would be versus a control group like we did this past year with about 25 or 30 nannies. There's a nice another prospect right there. Little billy kid, all black billy kid. We got a couple of those this year due to breeding snape over about 30 nannies. You can see his size comparison compared to some of these twins. I don't know if he was a twin or a single. I'd have to look at his ear tag, but he definitely stands tall over the rest of the kids that are in the pasture. So we got a lot of good billy prospects this year. Kid crop wise, I think maybe 60% nanny kids, 40% billy kids, give or take. I'd have to get the exact numbers off my spreadsheet, but look at that kid. He's pretty impressive. They're definitely getting after those saw vine, briar vine leaves. They really destroyed the last pasture they were in. I'll show y'all the video on the graze line on that one. She's raising twins. One looks like her, one doesn't. And the third and final top thing that you're going to need when raising sheep and goats, in our opinion, that a lot of people look over, that doesn't make a lot of people's list, but is super important, is mineral. You can get a special mineral made based for your specific environment, or you can get one that's pre-made, kind of a one-fits-all type thing. This time of year when we have kids, we switch over to a Sweet Legs mineral. It's a little bit more pricey, but it's a little bit higher quality. But once those kids get to about 4 months old, we switch back to a different mineral. It's kind of, you can have it in the form of a block or loose mineral. We like the loose mineral. We think it's more straight cut to the point. They're not having to lick a bunch to get what they desire. They can come get an ounce or so is about what they take in a day, an ounce per head per day. So you can kind of do the math based on how many goats you have and how you're going to,
how fast and rapidly you're going to go through it.
Exactly. As with that minerals, obviously forage.
Because without forage, I mean, obviously you can't have goats and or sheep. So high quality forage is great. And to be profitable, you don't want to be feeding hay year round. Whether or not you're clearing land for people or you're just doing it on your own or anything like that, you want appropriate forage. That's huge to have for really any animal, but goats like to have their heads high, so you want more browse, and sheep are going to want their heads low, so you need more grass. Of course, if goats have no other option, they will definitely eat the grass. Ours will definitely eat it after they've already cleared out their browse, and we won't let them, you know, get away with not eating grass. We want them to, you know, be able to eat anything we provide, but definitely the mineral being loose is very helpful. They can't fight as much over it. You don't have one standing there for 45 minutes licking. They can take a lot more in more rapidly, so that way they can utilize it faster and better and not stand at a salt block for hours on end or however long they feel necessary. Plus, then they're not just wearing a hole in it. They can just grab a couple bites and then move on about their day and go do what they're supposed to do and eat the leaves, eat the forage that's provided.